Welcome everybody to the latest of our series of podcasts that Brown&Co is recording whilst we can't all meet in person. We would usually have our spring seminar series of events, and whilst we can't meet, this is an alternative to hopefully keep you up to date with lots of the things going on at Brown&Co. This particular podcast is going to focus on the energy sector and developments in the market and latest issues we're all talking about amongst ourselves. My name is Ed Blundy. I'm a partner of Brown&Co based in our King's Lynn office. And with me this afternoon is Henry Haworth, based in our Lincoln office. Afternoon, Henry.
Hi there, Ed.
And I'm going to talk a little bit in a minute or two about some of the developments in the solar sector and the battery storage sector, some of the pros and cons of where we are in that market. But first, I think Henry's going to talk to us a little bit about a higher level overview of what's happening in the sector, what's happening to energy prices, and what opportunities that might be presenting to our clients at the moment. So Henry, over to you, please.
Yeah. Thanks, Ed. Yes, so I think something we're all aware of at the moment is the energy price rise, and while it can be seen as a negative on one hand, obviously for producers, this is obviously a huge potential to generate a viable project. So something that we've seen more recently as energy prices have gone up is a lot more interest again in solar technologies, AD and even wind. And a lot of the time these are now becoming more feasible without the need for the feed-in tariff things, which we've now seen the back of. So an area we've been working quite a lot in recently is the AD. AD, previously supported by feed-in tariff from the RHI, has now seen a new scheme open for it under the Green Gas Support Scheme. So this scheme was brought in November last year, and having recently opened, has still got significant space for new projects. It's no longer looking at the burning of gas, but actually injection straight into the grid with carbon capture as well. So it leans much more towards sort of carbon neutrality and 2050 net zero targets. So that's something that we're now progressing a lot of sort of feasibility work in, and we see that as a really good potential, being one of the only sort of supported smaller scale generation you can actually do in the UK at the moment. Now, alongside that, I did also mention wind, which again is something that was rather large during the times of the feed-in tariff, but now we're seeing potential for this and are seeing sites go into planning again in order to meet the 2050 net zero target. While you might not be able to do this under generation terms, offsetting where you've got high usage is definitely potential. And I think solar as well, which I think Ed is going to give us a little bit more of an insight into.
Yeah, and AD, Henry, are we talking gas to grid, or are we talking production of gas for burning to produce electricity? Which way are people leaning?
It's all gas to grid now. So the times of CHP burning is really over, because it's just not seen as environmentally friendly as it was previously. It filled a gap at the time, but it's just not part of the sort of the modern mix of renewables.
Sure. So producing our own biogas here to offset expensive imports clearly is something that's been in the news and the press a lot and in everybody's attention at the moment. And I guess the storage of that gas, it's at some point in the UK, domestic storage of gas is something that we haven't been very good at in recent years, have we? And so maybe the storage of that gas as well will feature for certain investors and developers as we move forward as well, if indeed more on farm AD happens again and the new support system allows it. But you're right, certainly as part of the energy mix, it seems to me that gas is absolutely coming back front and centre along with onshore wind. We've mentioned solar. Yes, my day-to-day focus is on large-scale solar developments. We are facing a few issues at the moment with cumulative impact and how planners are going to deal with more and more applications all of the time. There are possible issues with too much battery storage happening, just because will the later schemes affect some of the older schemes, or will they start to compete with each other? Of course, there are construction delays at the moment because of higher costs. So developers with consented schemes might just be choosing to wait for a year or two to see if those come down. But obviously, all of those impacts turn into opportunities, at one point or another. The fact that we need to transition to a low carbon economy and produce lots more renewable electricity hasn't gone anywhere. That still remains. We need that new generation capacity. The investment demand is certainly there in the city, and we have landowning clients absolutely willing to make land available for these schemes. And it seems to me, I don't know whether you find the same, Henry, but certainly talking to local communities and as I suppose society as a whole, it does appear that there is more of an acceptance now that the visual impact of some of these schemes, of solar parks, of wind turbines or AD plants, is now seen as worth it, when the prize is avoiding this irreversible climate change and sort of doing our part.
Absolutely, there's been a huge change in public perception compared to sort of 4 or 5 years ago.
For sure. Well, I'm conscious we can't keep talking for too long, but it certainly seems to me that that there are opportunities here. There's lots of positive stuff going, a huge volume of work in the sector, but whether it's new large scale solar, or whether it's rooftop solar offsetting your own electricity consumption, whether it's new AD plants, or whether it's whatever might come down the rails in future with hydrogen and well, maybe even new nuclear fusion technology, which we've heard about in the press this week. Certainly, the sector is very busy. Lots for us to do. I suspect that those of us here are doing more than anybody, perhaps. And so, I suppose our point is that if you need advice, if you're facing challenges with any of this, then just please do get in touch with us. There's a whole team of people here at Brown&Co dealing with this all day, every day. So please do get in touch with your local Brown&Co contact. And if you need any more information, then just please go to our website at brown-co.com. Thank you very much.
Thanks.